Hi everyone, welcome to Football Finance Professionals. In today's video, we're going to be talking about transferable skills between football and business or vice versa. Football and business may seem a world apart to you, but we'd like to draw out some similarities that would help you transition, particularly from football into the business world, which is a significant priority for all football clubs for life after becoming a football player. Football players tend to retire at a maximum age of around about 40 years old. In comparison to the man or woman on the street, they would still have another 25 years until they're able to draw their pension. So I think it's important to draw out some of those skills that could be transferable from the pitch or potentially even the backroom staff onto other walks of life. And at Football Finance Professionals, we're here to help you do that. So if you're interested in learning more about football finance and how that can support your transition from being a player into the business side of football, then feel free to go to www.footballfinancepro.com for more information about what we do to help educate people about finance using the medium of football, a language that as a player I'm sure you'll understand. So what common traits can footballers leverage when it comes to making a transition into business? The first point that I'd like to make is around strategic thinking. Whether on or off the pitch, football clubs and football players need to have a vision. Whilst playing the game, instantaneously, football players need to make critical decisions that are going to impact the game. That game will then have a knock-on impact to the season or the competition in which they're competing. In business, decisions are needed to be made on a daily basis that are going to impact your team, the goals that you've set, the financial performance for the year, and therefore the success of the business into the long term. And it's a very similar parallel. Athletes, and footballers in particular, those elite athletes, have an innate ability to be able to sense what's coming next. An anticipation, particularly in that football environment, to allow them to anticipate the future. And that's a fantastic skill to be able to transition into business. And yes, it might not be exactly the same, but that instinct is still going to be there. The second point I'd like to make is probably the most obvious one, particularly in the football environment, and that's around teamwork. Having an ability to work together, to sacrifice your own success for the benefit of the team. An unselfishness combined with playing to your strengths. And that's the third point I'd like to make. Being able to identify where you fit into the team. I can relate to this in particular. And although I've not played elite football, I have been able to identify a strength off the pitch that's allowed me to successfully get into the football industry as a finance professional. Rather than trying to copy what everybody else was doing, I turned around and did the opposite. I gained a set of skills that did not exist in the football industry, almost guaranteeing that I was only competing against myself when it came to that interview. Yes, there was a little bit of luck involved, but when plugged into that team environment, I was complementary to the skills that were already there. And it's the same for a footballer. If you are the one who's going to score all the goals, you might do that at a certain age group. You might be the striker, the position that everybody wants to play. As you grow older, you might not be able to keep up with everybody else and your position might adjust. You might become a right winger, for example. And as you progress further, you might be pushed back to right wing back. And that may, in your opinion, may not necessarily be the more attractive position than the ones that you've played previously. But your physical adaptations over the time that you've grown might not necessarily allow you to play in other positions. So the options would be right wing back or not playing at all. Playing to your strengths or finding the position within the team is something that is critical. And footballers will go on a journey of exploration when it comes to their own footballing capabilities. And it's exactly the same when it comes to business. Some individuals will be better at marketing, some better at finance, some better at coaching. But having an ability to identify your strengths and work on your weaknesses and find your position is key. Point number 4, adaptability. In a football environment, things can change in an instant. One minute you could be winning, the next minute you could be losing. Or it could be vice versa. The adaptability of a football player to be able to change according to its environment is probably going to be significantly higher than the general population. An ability to solve problems and break down their opponents dependent on who they're playing. An ability to adapt to the physical environment, playing an away game. It's not going to be the same as playing at home. And as you go through a career in business, the ability to adapt to different teams, different individuals, different working styles, potentially even different languages, or different market conditions would be highly beneficial. Number 5, communication. The most successful teams that exist will be able to communicate. And communication comes in the form of verbal and non-verbal cues. Will there be commonality of language across all football teams? Not necessarily. In an international game where players come from a host of different countries and play in one team, communication is vital, especially when they don't necessarily speak that common language, at least verbally. They will speak a common language when it comes to the game of football. And being able to communicate in ways that are non-verbal would be highly beneficial in the world of business. And finally, another obvious one, leadership. For footballers to make it to the pinnacle of their career, they're going to have some tenacity. And that will allow them to become an inspiration to those around them. We require inspirational leaders in business. An ability to motivate their teams is critical. Whether you're a captain or you're coming on as a substitute, football players and athletes in general, particularly those in a team environment, have leadership skills way beyond that of the average person. Footballers that live life in the public eye are forced to set an example every single day of their lives. People are looking up to them constantly. Imagine that in a business environment. So in conclusion, we've just touched on a handful of transferable skills between football and business. And hopefully this will give you the confidence to transition from your current career into your next one. And whether that's from business to football, or more likely to be from football to business. And we hope that by watching this video, you've got the inspiration to take the next step. And if you'd like any advice or someone to talk to on that transition and potentially how we can help, why not reach out at info@footballfinancepro.com. We teach finance through the medium of football, and finance again is critical to a career in business. So whether you're looking at a career in the business of football or in business more generally, we'll be speaking a language that you definitely understand, and you can take that into football or elsewhere. So get in touch at info@footballfinancepro.com and we'd be happy to help. My name's Neil Wood and I'm a football finance professional. If you like the video, hit like, subscribe for more, and thanks for watching.